Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about INS Tushil. INS stands for Indian Naval Ship. So INS Tushil has departed from Russia and it is soon going to be added as one of the ships serving Indian Navy and the interest of India. So what is INS Tushil? How it is different? What is its significance? And everything that we should know about the ship. Let us try to understand this in more detail. Now, in a major significance for Indo-Russia relations, INS Tushil of the Indian Navy has set sail from the Kaliningrad region of the Russia for India. If you talk about, in essence, INS Tushil is example of multi-role stealth guided missile frigate. Now, it is very important to understand all these terms. Now, multi-role basically refers to that a ship is not serving a single dedicated role, rather it can be deployed and used for multiple purposes. This can be, for example, providing protection to a convoy passing through a particular region of the ocean. It can be for providing, we can say, even attacking some of the minor submarines that might pose a threat, or the pirates that might pose a threat, as we see in the cases of Red Sea in the nearby area. It can also act as a landing site for many attack helicopters and choppers that can provide further strength to Indian Navy's capabilities in fulfilling its role in the Indian Ocean region. So that is why we are calling it a multi-role ship. Second is, it is stealth guided. Stealth guided refers to a stealth is basically that technology through which a ship or aircraft is manufactured, which does not let the enemy understand the location of this particular vessel, in this case ship. For example, it cannot be easily tracked using radar, it cannot be easily located using the sonar, or even visually it becomes very difficult and challenging to locate such kind of vessel. So this is what we mean by the term stealth guided. And missile frigate means the frigate, that is a class of ship. It also has accommodated several type of missiles such as BrahMos missile, Stil missile, that we'll talk about that in later. So that is what basically the term means. And frigate is a class. We have different class of naval ships. So frigate is one of the class of naval ships that we are going to discuss in detail. What does frigate basically do? Now, if you talk about this particular INS Tushil, the ship was built in the Russia, obviously in the Kaliningrad region of Russia, which is an exclave of Russia, and commissioned on December this year when Indian Defense Minister was on a visit to the country. So Rajnath Singh also at that time, he was the one who also has accepted that the development of the ship is nothing but a reflection of long-standing partnership, especially in the defense sphere, that has existed for many years between India and Russia. So if we try to now understand about the journey that the ship is undergoing to take, so first of all, if you look at this particular dot, red dot, that is where the Kaliningrad is situated. If you look at the nearby water area, it is the Baltic Sea. So it is going to set off from the Baltic Sea, Kaliningrad, then going to pass to the North Sea region here. That is going to pass through the Atlantic Ocean, then further it is going to pass through the Mediterranean Sea, then Red Sea, then finally Gulf of Oman, and then finally the ship will move toward India and will dock somewhere along the Arabian Sea coast, the western coast of India. This is going to be the journey of INS Tushil. So first of all, also the Ministry of Defense in its recent statement has clarified that the ship is not going to take a direct journey from Russia to India, rather it will make a lot of stopovers in between places where many countries are allied to India and Russia. So during those times, the ship is going to participate in joint patrolling operations and maritime partnership exercises with the countries that are lying in the path. Second, while it is making the call of the port, or port calls as it is called as, port calls in simple terms can be explained as the intermediate stop that a ship or ship makes during its long journey. So during those port calls, the ship is going to undertake capability building activities and will also host navies and hold interaction with the senior military and government leadership of several different countries. Mostly it will be Arabian countries in the Gulf of Oman and Persian Gulf region. Not only that, when the ship is stationed at each of these ports, it will also provide opportunity for the Indian diaspora. Indian diaspora basically means the citizens or the persons of Indian origin living in these countries to engage with the ships, and also it will spread a kind of message of the safety and security that Indian Navy is basically destined to do. So overall, these are going to be the various processes in which ship is going to engage itself. Now, apart from that, Ministry of Defense also has said that all these activities, what is the main purpose? The main purpose is first to consolidate India's maritime cooperation, because in the recent time it has become very, very critical to ensure that there is no threat to the sea lines of communication, especially because most of the energy resources of India, where it is the crude oil or gas, is transporting through these high risk areas. When you talk about the high risk areas, obviously you mean the area around the Somali coast, where the piracy is very, very common, and also in these days, due to the Houthi rebels operating from the Yemenis territory, the Red Sea region, the Gulf of Oman region, Persian Gulf region, all these are also becoming a high risk area. So such kind of activity by a naval ship from Indian Navy obviously send a strong message, and it will also help in overall enhancing India's maritime cooperation with the littoral countries of the region such as Oman, UAE, Saudi Arabia and all. Not only that, it will also reinforce Indian Navy's commitment to protect and safeguard the seafaring community, because we know that due to the high risk associated with these areas, many of the companies, shipping companies, cargo vessels, even the people working on these vessels, they were not very much willing to pass through and go through these areas. That has led to increase in the insurance cost for the ships passing through this area. That has also increased the cost of doing the business through this territory. These are something that India has taken into consideration, and that is why port calls are being made or is going to be made by this ship. Now, if you look at the INS Tushil itself, as I told you, it has been prepared or it has basically been constructed at Kaliningrad. Kaliningrad, as we can see, is the exclave of Russia. Exclave means it is a territory of Russia that is outside of the mainland. So, as you can see, the Kaliningrad is a region that is surrounded by NATO member countries such as Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, and then on the other side you have the Baltic Sea, and on that side you have the Sweden. So this is the location of Kaliningrad. Now, INS Tushil itself is a very big ship, frigate ship to be more precise. Overall, it is 125-meter long with a total weight of 3,900 tons. Many experts argue that such a large ship packs a heavy and lethal punch, because here the development of the ship is not only based on the Russian design and technology, rather India also has collaborated. So it is a joint effort, and thus the ship represents an impressive blend of the Russian and Indian cutting edge technology. Now, if you look at the more specific this characteristic of the INS Tushil, so it is an upgraded Krivak 3 class frigate which has been developed under the overall project called as Project 1135.6. Now, under this particular Project 1135.6, already 6 different ships has already been transferred to India by the Russia, which are already operating and is in operation. So, here you have 3 Talwar class ships that were built at the Baltysky shipyard in the St. Petersburg. Again, if you take a look at this map here, St. Petersburg is the second most important city of Russia after the capital Moscow, and also it is situated near the Baltic Sea coast. So, in the Baltysky seaport or shipyard, 3 Talwar class ships were built and transferred to India. Apart from that, 3 other Teg class ships were built at the Yantar shipyard from the Kaliningrad, where the INS Tushil has been developed. And overall, the Tushil is the 7th ship in such kind of we can say development, and one more ship in the future Russia is planning to transfer to India. So overall, under Project 1135.6, total 8 different ships will be transferred to India. Now, overall, this entire development project was something that is going on under agreement signed between Indian government, the Indian Navy, and JSC Rosso Boron Export, that was signed in October 2016, and that is where the development has taken place. Now, in the beginning, we have talked about that INS Tushil is an example of frigate class of ship. So, when you talk about different classes of ship that generally a navy employs, the first most important class is what we refer as destroyer class of ship. Now, as clear from the name itself, destroyer ships are largely used for attack purposes. This is very fast ship with a very higher extent or grade of maneuverability, and they also are long endurance warship. Long endurance warship means they can remain in the sea, in the high seas, in the water for an extended duration of time. Largely their purpose is to escort larger vessels such as aircraft carrier or even any business vessels, convoy or battle group, and defend against smaller, powerful, short range attackers. Then the second class of ship that INS Tushil belongs to is a frigate class. Now, frigate class is largely used to protect other warships if it is providing escort and security to the naval warships, or especially as anti-submarine warfare combatants for amphibious forces, underway replenishment groups, also merchant convoys. For example, when the crude oil ships are passing through high risk areas, especially if they are bringing or taking some merchandise from India or to India, in that case it can be used for providing protection to such ships. Third kind of ship, which is the largest in the naval group, are called as carrier, also called as aircraft carrier, and clear from the name itself, it act as a moving or mobile military base for a particular country, as these are the carriers which provide facility for landing and taking off for large number of the fighter jets, and thus it also is used as a force multiplier, because it then allow the country to attack any particular region of the world. In today's world, the United States of America is having the largest number or highest number of aircraft carrier. And last type of ship that Navy uses is called as cruiser. Cruiser is basically the largest and most powerful surface combatants that is used in the air defense, commerce raiding, as well as the bombardment of the shore, so that the army or the people from army can then easily go and enter into the foreign territory, enemy's territory, and then can carry out attacks. So basically, cruiser used for neutralizing the threat along the coastal areas or shore areas. So these are the four major class of ship. If we go into more detail about the INS Tushil, so it is India's newest warship, as we have discussed. Its crest features impenetrable shield. That means the crest is made up of such kind of material which is very, very difficult to be damaged by any kind of attack. Second, it is multi-role, as we have discussed before, a stealth guided missile frigate, packs lethal punch, and features better stability characteristics. Not only that, also it has been understood that it is driven by advanced gas turbine propulsion plant. If we talk about the submarines of India, India is also in the process of procuring nuclear powered submarines. So as opposed to nuclear energy, it is the gas turbine that will drive the ship. Now also, if you look at the capabilities of this particular ship, it is believed that it will have impressive speed capabilities, and at the fastest its speed can even exceed 30 knots. Knots, as you know, is the unit of speed that is measured in the sea areas. Plus, it is the blend of Russian and Indian cutting edge technology, and also it incorporates almost 26% of made in India component that has been provided by two organizations. One is the BrahMos organization that is making the BrahMos missile, and second is the BEL, that is the Bharat Electronics Limited. Now, once the ship is inducted into the Indian Navy, how or what kind of role it is going to play? Now, obviously, it is going to perform a lot of blue water operations. Blue water operations refer to operation being performed in the deep sea or high sea areas across the spectrum of naval warfare. Also, it is armed with a range of advanced weapons. For example, the BrahMos missile, which is a type of supersonic cruise missile that has also been jointly developed by India and Russia, and that is how the name comes, Brahmaputra and Moskva. Both are the rivers in these two respective countries. Apart from this, other missile that is present in this INS Tushil is the Still missile, which is a surface-to-air missile, again developed by Russia. Also, it has anti-submarine torpedoes and rocket to neutralize the threats coming from the submarines. And also, it is capable of marking the upgraded anti-submarine and airborne early warning helicopters. So these are the major significance of, if talk about, of the INS Tushil. Now we have discussed so much about INS Tushil. You must be thinking that why or what is the name, what is the meaning of the name Tushil itself? Now, as per the Ministry of Defense report, the ship's name Tushil basically means the protector shield, and its crest represents the Abhedya Kavacham. As we have discussed before, its shield is something that is believed to be impenetrable, that cannot be damaged by the attacks and such, and that is why its name is Tushil. Also, the motto of the ship, if you look, it clearly states Nirbhay, Abhedya or Balasheel. Nirbhay referring obviously to the fearlessness, Abhedya means indomitable, and Balasheel means resolute. So that is portraying also the motto of the ship, which also is in aligning with the motto of Indian Navy. So the ship basically, we can say in conclusion, it stands as a symbol of the Indian Navy's undying commitment to protect and safeguard the nation's maritime frontier. And this is also something that has been highlighted by the Defense Minister Rajnath Singh when he was on the visit to Russia, where he said that the inclusion of INS Tushil will help in fulfilling the objective of India, the objective that is referred by the term Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region. And to ensure that, INS Tushil is going to play a very critical role. So that is all about this particular video. Thank you very much.